Hi, I'm Jan, creator of Foppies France on YouTube.
And I'm Sharon, guardian of 2 cats and 2 chickens.
Welcome to our podcast. What did I come in here for?
And we're here to share with you our lives, loves, musings and mutterings.
We are menopausal friends living in rural France. We'd like to share with you our lives here, and we'll be exposing ourselves by talking about what we get up to on a daily basis and just being us. If you've watched Foppies France, you know how our conversations usually pan out. So Sharon, you want to tell everybody how we met?
Yes, Jan and I worked for the same housing association in South East England, in Kent. I would say we were acquaintances. We weren't friends, really, were we?
Well,
together.
The thing is, you were one of my bosses, so you're obviously looking down on me, really.
Yes,
Yeah.
because my height. I looked down.
Sharon is shorter than me, I'd say.
I'd have to stand on a step to look down on you.
Yeah.
Yes, I had an air of superiority about
Of course,
Obviously,
yeah.
I did. Anyway, someone else had said to me that Jan owned a house in France. I think I must have said that was one of my ambitions, or I might want to go and live in France one day.
You were jealous. I remember you saying you were jealous.
Yes, I was jealous. But yeah, we got talking about France. I think you showed me pictures of the house and everything.
I had pictures on my desk.
Yes, you did. Yes,
Until they started saying to us we weren't allowed to have pictures around our desk of things.
Yeah, the clear desk policy really annoyed me.
Yeah.
And they said you could only have one picture. And I've got 3 kids.
Exactly.
And I wanted all 3 of them. So I put up a picture of Spike from Buffy.
Did you really?
I can't have trying to get all 3 kids together is just impossible at that age. They were teenagers, I think. So I just had Spike from Buffy. Anyway,
why not? Right.
You had your house.
Yeah, the house.
So we got talking about that. Eventually, you left and came to France permanently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think after that, I was one of the first people from the UK to come over and stay in the gîte.
You were. We finally felt loved.
Yeah, which was lovely, and I thought the area was gorgeous. Just a little village in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Really liked it. And maybe the following year, Jan put an advert on Facebook to say, would anyone like a free holiday in France come and sit for her chickens and cat, so her and Duncan could go on holiday. So I came and did that. I think I did that twice. So yes, loved the area, loved being here in rural France. And then when I came over for your wedding, Jan and Doug's wedding, there was a house in the same village where Dunk's family was staying.
Yeah, this is one I used to look after as well, wasn't it?
Yes, as a gîte.
Yeah.
So we came up to see them one evening, bit of a nose round. So they showed me the whole house, and I thought, I love that house. I really liked the house.
She's whispering, I love that house, because you can't hear it.
Yes, and then I was lucky enough, Jo, who owned the house, said she'd let me rent it for a few months. Kind of try before you buy. So I came over and did that, I think in 2018, 19.
I think it was 19 you must have moved, because you were... Oh no, I was having treatment, wasn't I, in 19? So yeah, it was around that time, yeah.
Yes.
Because you were helping me as well, weren't you?
And I think I stayed nearly a year renting. And then went back to the UK, having decided to come over here permanently and actually to buy this house. Went back over to the UK to finalise selling my flat and got caught up with COVID. So that sale fell through, couldn't put it back on the market for ages. So I ended up back in the UK for 6 or 7 months, I think. And then eventually came over September 2020.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Must be, because you've been here about 3 years, yeah. So it's That would be 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, and that was my sort of permanent date. Finalised buying the house early the following year, I think. Yeah, that's me. So Jan and Dunk have been here a lot longer.
Yeah, we've been here 12 years, actually living here, but we bought the house in 2004. Well, say house, it's houses. When we first bought, we thought it was one, but there's a building next door which was used as a garage stroke barn. So once we actually come over here permanently, we renovated that, and that is now where we live.
You keep going. I'm just going to get the cat off the counter.
If you look at Foppy's France, my YouTube channel, there's lots of talk about that, and there's an episode showing the work we did before and after,
which is amazing.
Yeah, so if you want to be nosy, obviously go and watch that.
Yeah, I found it fascinating sitting in your front room, looking at the pictures, and then realising that room I'm sitting in with the nice French doors used to be a garage.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Well, I still forget occasionally, and then we get sight of some of our old photos, and you think, God, we really did all that.
Yeah, you did tons of work. You say mostly yourself as well.
Yeah,
pointing and things like that. I don't mean like finger pointing.
No, we don't tend to point at each other very much. Yeah, so what was we saying? So I've been here 12 years. Yeah. Duncan works here as an electrician, and we were very lucky that he's had work basically from the word go. It goes on recommendations now. We don't tend to advertise, because that would be even worse, because as it is now, he's having to say no to people, which is a nice position to be in, but there's a lot of demand here for English electricians. He actually works quite a lot for another YouTuber, which is Billy Petherick, who's got a chateau here and a convent. I think some of you have probably watched that. He has worked in other chateaux as well.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I was going to say he is known as the chateau electrician.
He is known as the chateau electrician. Yeah, but no, we're lucky because he does get a lot of work. And being as I'm here semi-retired, I still have to prepare the gîte next door, which is the house we initially lived in when we first came. I do prepare that in the summer, and other than that, now I'm occupied. I can't really call it a job because I'm not really getting that well paid at all by YouTube, but it's occupied. Apparently I'm an influencer. I don't know what I'm influence people in doing.
Yes.
Other than maybe don't be a YouTuber. So yeah. I was just lucky with that, and obviously it meant that because Duncan's electricians, he's rubbed shoulders with lots of other tradesmen stroke artisans, and he has learnt a lot of other trades over time.
Yes.
And when Sharon bought this house, he was very
helpful. Yeah. He's helped me do insulation along with some other friends. Julie helped with that as well, didn't she? Putting my own suite in. And making changes to the bathroom, a lot of that in his spare time as well, So
well, yeah, obviously he has to carry on with his normal full-time job as well.
Yeah, and the chicken coop, of course.
It's almost episodes with that, isn't it? Keep having to change it. Yeah.
Is that still on YouTube when we tried to do the extension?
Oh yeah, yeah. Lots of views of our backsides up in the air and getting it wrong.
Oh God! Well, I think we spent 4 hours trying to
get nowhere really.
Yeah, trying to create this extension for the chicken coop.
Well, was it the extension or was it the initial?
No, we did that okay. I think putting the initial coop together. It was
Yeah, it was. It's the extension bit. That's right. Yeah, because this is going back a bit now, isn't it? I've forgotten. But yeah, we'd spent all that time
trying to do
it, and then we said to Duncan, "Can you come and help us finish it off?"
He took the whole thing apart.
Yeah, he came in and he laughed and took it all apart and started again.
It took him about half an hour.
Yeah, can't blame him really, and he did. Yeah, he did finish it very quickly, as Sharon says, about half an hour, and it was done.
Yeah,
that was funny.
Oh, and Jackie and Susan are very appreciative.
Yeah. And he's just recently built an extension to it because, Julie initially did almost like a temporary one, but it's now made it a bit stronger because Sharon was letting the chickens roam the garden, and one of the neighbours, a bit of a miserable neighbour, was moaning they were getting into his garden. So they're now not free range as such, not, so they're just given a bigger run. So they're happy anyway with that.
If people don't know, chickens dig.
Yeah, I didn't realise how much they dig, but they do.
They dig holes, and they dug holes in my garden. They got into one of my compost bins and got all that out. And they were digging in my neighbour's garden as well. Little horrors.
One thing I want to just say in here is we've already recorded this once, or we thought we did, and I went to play it back and it wasn't there. So if we and ah a lot, it's, even though we and ah a lot anyway, we are and ahhing because we can't remember if we've already said it or not in this recording.
I'm thinking, because we talked about the chickens a lot last time, didn't we?
Yeah.
We talked about your chickens.
But yeah, Sharon's got chickens. I don't think I've already said this, but I had 4 chickens.
Named after your children.
Named after my children, which I was told was a mistake, and I realised it was, especially when one of them died, and I had to say which one had died, and that's all I'm going to say. And yeah, so I had to get rid of my chickens. I had breast cancer, and then when I was having treatment, well, it wasn't just when I was having treatment, I had to have my lymph nodes removed, and it meant I was prone to infection. So Duncan, just a peace of mind, said let's get rid of the chickens because he thought I might get an infection from the chickens.
Because they're dirty buggers.
Very dirty. So my neighbour adopted them off us.
She later took on my cocks.
Yeah, she later took on Sharon's cocks, which she shouldn't really have had, should you?
No, that's a whole other story.
Yeah.
It's mainly Jan's fault.
Of course. Yeah.
Jan came to the garden centre with me to order my chickens.
Yeah.
And first we had the whole discussion about pool and pool. When we asked to order some pool, they pointed us to the jumpers.
Yeah,
they're called
pull is as
pool.
short for pull over, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then we inadvertently ordered a couple of cocks.
Yeah. But you didn't realise this until they started crowing.
Well, at first there were no eggs.
That's it. Why are my chickens not laying?
Yeah, which was, would have been obvious if I'd known they were cocks. And then, one morning I got up and there was a cock-a-doodle-doo.
That was funny.
It was really loud. And one of my neighbours complained.
Yes.
They were too noisy.
Because she was still a bit unsure, but obviously deep down you knew. So we got a neighbour around who has a lot of animals, including chickens, just to have a look, and she confirmed they were both male. So she said, which took them off your hands, didn't she?
She did, and she also helped us on the phone to order another 2, make sure they.
Which wasn't helping us. She had to just basically take over, didn't she? She sat in
over.
her car with her phone, laughing with the other person on the other end of the phone about our mistake, stupid English people. And so ordered another 2. So same colour, same chickens, just and same names.
They are Jackie and Susan.
Yeah. Who are named Jackie and Susan are named after 2 of Sharon's.
Well,
one's a friend, one's a
Yeah.
relative that died. So she hasn't got to worry about if the chicken dies and having the same name.
No.
But Sharon's also got 2 cats.
I have. I've got Izzy, who was originally called Isabel.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, but she's Izzy now.
You got a friend Isabel, haven't you? That wasn't named after her.
No. She's not dead either.
No, good.
No. I spoke to her this morning. So Izzy is 14 and a half now, and is diabetic. She has to be injected with insulin twice a day. So to make her retirement comfortable and quiet, I adopted a kitten a year ago who turned up in the street, who'd woke my neighbour up, meowing in the bushes. Tiny little 6-week-old thing, peed on itself. So I took him in, and his name's Marco.
Yeah,
But
but
we had gender issues.
He wasn't. Yeah, initially he was Margot, because it was Margot, it's the neighbour's daughter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That brought the cat to the front door. Was she asking if you wanted it or was it yours?
No, at first it was, have you lost a kitten?
Yeah.
Because there's one crying in my garden.
Mm.
Oh, and then next door lent her a carrier so we could try and catch him. And then he was actually in the street, so we got him and brought him in. Yes, and he was called Margot, because even the vet said it was a girl.
Mm.
And see, I think I haven't said this, but I have on the one.
Well, just go for it again.
Are we still recording, Jen?
Yes,
Do you want
we're
to
still
check?
recording. We're definitely still recording. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was away somewhere, probably in the UK or something, and my friends who were staying here looking after the cats just sent me this picture of 2 furry balls that had kind of appeared overnight. So next time I took him to the vet, they went, yeah, it's a boy.
We had some inklings before, didn't we? But then we said, we must be wrong because the vet said it was female.
Yeah.
So it was a bit bizarre.
So
so Margot became...
Marco.
No, Margot became Marco.
Yeah, he doesn't have furry balls anymore. But it doesn't stop him hiding around corners and jumping on Izzy's back.
No, it pounces on Izzy, so this is her retirement isn't very quiet.
It isn't. She's been through a lot.
Mm.
She moved twice in the UK.
Of course, yeah.
And then I introduced a dog that she had to get used to. And then I brought her and the dog back to France. So she's lived in France now for as long as I have. And then I introduced a kitten.
So she's doing well considering.
Yeah. Just to put up
Her nerves are shattered. No, they're not. No, they're not. She's fine. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
It's hard work.
It is. So I did have a cat. Have we spoken about that again? About the fact that you did, didn't you?
Yes,
you
we did.
Yes. So Sharon, as we said before, Sharon did look after our chickens and our cat at the time, and
I didn't look after the cat.
She keeps saying it's her fault, but when
it was on my watch,
when Sharon was looking after the cat, I think you'd messaged us when we was on holiday to say he hasn't come home or something, wasn't it?
Yes, I said. I think I said I haven't seen much of him.
That's it.
Like
yeah.
That, yeah.
And when we come home, we still didn't see anything of him, and you'd gone home, and then we realised about 3 months later I don't think he's coming home, and then our French neighbour, after one of our garden parties, came back for apéros as they do, and he said. He just announced that he remembered seeing our cat dead on the side of the road and hadn't bothered to tell us. So, Duncan was beside himself. He was distraught.
Really upset, wasn't it?
Sharon blamed herself for that because it was on her watch, which is obviously rubbish because cats do their own thing. And
there's a lot went on in that visit.
Was there? What else went on? What did I miss?
Brexit.
Oh yes, it was during Brexit.
Yeah. Well, I sat up all night.
Oh no, it wasn't during Brexit, was it? It was
the vote.
It was the vote.
Yeah.
The vote was while we was away because we were very angry when we was on holiday that it had been voted as a go.
And I think it was the European Championships football was on as well.
Oh well, I wouldn't remember that.
Yeah.
Sharon you'll realise the more you listen to us, we're very opposite in lots of different ways, and we could probably argue quite a lot over these things, but we don't. We just agree to disagree sometimes. But Sharon's into sport, me and Duncan aren't.
News and politics, you don't have anything.
Sharon really likes her news and politics, and I don't.
I wrote out a complete cricket guide for you.
You did.
Because you were like, I don't understand cricket, I don't know what's going on. So I very kindly wrote a complete guide.
It was very kind of you, Sharon.
From like, this is a ball, these are the stumps. And I sent it to you, you never bloody read it.
I never read it. In fact, I lost it. I only found it again recently.
Oh, you found it?
Oh, yeah.
Have you read it?
No. Every now and then I come across it and I think, oh, Sharon's cricket rules. I'd forgotten about it.
Didn't help.
So what else do we know? I mean, you knit, and I don't tend to knit. Whereas I sew more and you don't tend to sew.
I only sew under your supervision.
Sharon's.
I enjoy it. I'm just crap at it.
Sharon reads more books than I do.
Yes.
Because I tend to like to watch things rather than read. What else do we?
Well, I was going to say my like of science fiction, but I feel as if you're getting into it a bit because you've been watching a few things lately.
Yeah, well, Duncan's into science fiction very much, and so you and he obviously talk about that quite a lot because you seem to know a lot of the books and things. And I am getting more into it, I must admit. I think one of the mains, or two of the mains, are the sport and the politics.
Yeah.
I can't think. I'm tall, you're short.
This is true.
You have 2 breasts, I only have 1. That's down to my,
usually I'm only
due
friends
to my
with
mastectomy.
Usually I'm only friends with people with 2 boobs. Make an exception for Jan.
Oh dear.
Because she was 2 boobed when I first met her.
I was 2 boobed when we first met, yes.
It seems mean to go, no. I can no longer be friends with you. I am only friends with people with 2 boobs.
Oh, and you've got 2 bionic knees and I haven't.
Yes, I have 2 new knees. 1.5 officially, but yeah.
I've got a bit more willpower than Sharon.
I was just about to say you're a good motivator.
Oh right, yeah, not what, with everything.
Well, I don't know if I would get up and walk as often as I do if it wasn't you knocking on the door. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not really a motivator, are you?
No, I'm a calmer downer.
A calmer downer, you are a calmer downer. So
which
is the balance between us,
yeah.
isn't it? You've got to have, one's got to be raring to go and one's got to hold them back.
Yeah, I did that yesterday when you thought you'd lost your phone.
Oh, and I lost my phone. Panic! My life's on that phone.
We'll find it. We'll just go back to all the places we've been.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
I go into the shop where I thought I'd lost it, come out and Sharon's in the middle of the car park waving at me. I found it! I'm trying to think what other opposites we've got. I like to be organised and practical, because you're just laid back, you just don't really... Well, you go to fits of organisation.
Are you saying I'm a mess?
No.
Are you saying I'm a mess?
Yes, you just said to me today you're very proud of yourself because you organised your pots in the cupboard.
It wasn't yesterday.
Oh, right, okay.
Yesterday was a bloody busy day anyway. It was the day before. But I did show Jan my Tupperware cupboard.
Yeah. Matched bottoms to lids.
I have, yes. I was very pleased. I sat on the floor in the kitchen for ages doing that.
You must like being a child, doesn't it? Fitting things in boxes.
I have one of those... There used to be those hexagonal balls.
Yes, oh yeah, we had
the
them.
Shapes.
Yeah. They're talking about that.
They're very good to try when you're drunk. Kids' toys
really?
like that, yeah.
Talking about that, you can going back to, like, obviously, look, we said we worked together.
Yes.
I was a housing assistant, Sharon was one of the bosses. But you've worked in housing quite a lot, haven't you?
Yes.
So you'd been more or less in the same game, as it were,
I've never
all the time. Whereas I changed.
Else. Yeah.
I went, when I left school, I went working for the Ministry of Defence.
Ooh.
In Marlow Rooms. Remember in
Sidcup.
In Sidcup. And even though it's ridiculous, it was for the Ministry of Defence, but all I was doing was processing traffic tickets. And back then it used to be on paper tape.
Right.
And so I used to have to read the holes in the tape. And I loved it. And I could type really fast.
I can see that appealing to you.
Yeah. Yeah. It really... I loved it. And it was always... Everybody had their numbers, if you like, to match each day. And I used to do it and be so pleased with myself. But I did leave there because when I was at school... One of mine, all I could think about was leaving, getting married and having children.
Yes, yeah.
Even as young as 15, that's what I had in my mind. And I did end up meeting my first husband when I was 16, in 1975. And
1975?
Yeah, and then before...
I'm a bit younger, I think that's worth saying.
It's worth saying, yeah, a couple of years younger, aren't you?
3.
So, okay, sorry. And then, so I left work after I'd I was married while I was at work.
Wow.
And then
So how old were you when you got married?
I was 19 when I got married. And I had my first child. I had 2 children by the time I was 21.
Oh my God.
And I had 4 children by the time I was 30.
Bloody
So
hell.
I got what I intended, and wanted, but for some reason it just didn't make me happy. It wasn't fulfilling, if you like. And so I did end up leaving my ex-husband. But but I've still got my 4 beautiful children and now 11 grandchildren. But while I was being a mum, I ended up going, because again, you get bored at home, don't you? And I ended up working.
Did it.
I worked. No, I suppose you didn't know, right. But I worked in a school kitchen. Mums always go for the school jobs because you then get the school holidays off.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I quite enjoyed that. It was quite hard work, but the best bit was the fact that you got to have dinner afterwards. And there was always school dinner puddings.
Cake and custard.
I loved it. And gypsy tart. My mum used to be able to make a gypsy
there
tart.
was a big discussion, so I'm going off track again.
It's all right.
I listened to a podcast called Off Menu.
Right, yes.
Where they get to choose their favourite things. And apparently gypsy tart is a Kent thing.
Not surprised, yeah.
It's a Kent-based
That's
pudding.
obviously why it was done.
Yeah,
at my school.
Lots of people
my
in
mum
other
did it.
parts of the country have never heard of it.
Well, the reason my mum did it was because she worked in a school kitchen when we were young as well,
my
and she
mum,
learnt how to make it at the
my
school.
mum didn't work in the kitchens, but she was a dinner lady.
Yeah, when they used to go around. I always remember dinner ladies when I was at school, and I remember wearing this jumper my nan, not my nan, it was my mum knitted with a dog on it with a little lead. And it's a stupid memory, but I remember one of the dinner ladies saying, "Let's take you for a walk." And she held the little lead on my jumper and walked me around the playground. What a stupid memory.
Dear.
But I was obviously pleased and chuffed with that.
You got singled out.
Yeah.
So
then
you worked in nurseries.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
But by the time I'd met Duncan, I'd decided I needed really to be working because I was on my own then. Well, not literally on my own, but I was having to fend for myself other than the fact that I'd met Duncan. And so I ended up going back to, I don't know, is it adult education, I suppose, to learn how to be a nursery nurse. And to work in, well, first of all it was to work in nursery, and then I worked in a kitchen at a nursery to start with, and I used to serve the children their food, make the food. Well, I think some of it we used to get brought in, but anyway, basically I served it and then washed up and that after. And while I was in the nursery, this way I was always keen to do the next thing, to go do a bit better. Yes. And I, from then, thought I want to be a nursery nurse. So then I did the training to be a nursery nurse, and I did that, I don't know, a year to 18 months. And then I got itchy feet wanting to move on and be a deputy manager. And so I ended up working in North London, being a deputy manager. And then that manager, she was so good, she said, "I'm going to send you on some more training." And so she did. Because I started off in Covent Garden, a nursery there, that's right. Still learning. And then I went to this other one who sent me to do some more training, and then from that I started getting itchy feet again, thinking I think I could manage a nursery. Yeah. So I said to her, meanwhile on the side was looking for a manager job, found one, and then because when I told her why I was leaving, she said, "Well, that will teach me for sending you on a training course, won't it?" Yes. But she was really pleased for me. Yeah. So so I did that.
They're the managers you remember.
Yeah, exactly. The one before that was lovely as well, but it was such a tiny nursery and it didn't really lend itself for me to learning too much. But yeah, so that's what I ended up doing. But then I got bored again. That's the thing. I'm always wanting to do something else. I did that. Didn't like having to tell my staff, as it were, what to do and to have a go at them, because that's what the managers wanted me to do, especially when it was something I didn't agree with. And I just couldn't
that's something
didn't do that.
Common, isn't it?
Yeah, that's something we've got in common. Neither of us liked to do that. So I did about 4 or 5 different nurseries in the end, including the nursery nurse and managing. And that the last one where I was manager, he obviously cottoned on that I wasn't going to do as he told me. And in a subtle way, he just said he got to lay me off because they were short on money. But I couldn't help but think it was because of that.
Yeah.
So, so I left there and I ended up being out of work for a bit. And then I ended up working for, what's the temp agency? Brook Street. I worked for Brook Street for a while because I really, while I was doing the managing, I got to enjoy admin. So I thought I could do an admin job. And that's what I did. I ended up working at Erith Hospital for on and off for a while. My biggest job, temporary job, was at prison. I worked there for ages, and it just happened to my daughter was working there, but not in the office. She was not doing something else somewhere else. And so eventually, what was I there? I was there doing that quite a while, and then eventually I thought, no, I need to be finding somewhere more permanent, and that's how I ended up at the Housing Association. So it took a while before I met you, though, didn't it? You was
yes,
because you'd come from other associations before there as well.
Yes, I've always worked in housing. I had no intention of getting married and having babies.
Another opposite.
I have to change my mind later.
Yeah.
So I did A-levels and went to university.
And I never did any of that because obviously I left too early.
Yeah, I did sociology and then came out of uni and just applied for lots of jobs in public authorities, I suppose. So I applied for jobs in health industry, in mental health and things like that. Anyway, the job I got was a little housing association in Wandsworth.
I forgot about that,
Yeah, but I was only there for just over a year, and then I got a job as a housing officer for Lewisham Council, which is one of our big councils in South East London. And I was actually at Lewisham for 16 years.
That was Sharon counting.
16 years, I think, something
Oh,
like
right.
that. Yeah, I was there a long, long time.
Yeah.
Started as a housing officer, then manager and head of. Did lots of different jobs, but stayed at Lewisham all that time. And in that time also got married and had 3 kids. So there's a few maternity leaves in there. But I always went back to work. I think the longest I had off work was with my youngest, and I was off for nearly a year then, I think. But always went back. Yeah, met my husband there as well. He was a surveyor. Met in a void, an empty house, if anybody doesn't.
Yeah, it does sound weird, doesn't it? Met in a void.
Yeah, met in an empty house in Deptford. So yeah, worked for Lewisham for a long time. And I don't know how I was particularly looking, but a job came up that was very local to me, because I was living, I know it's very parochial, a lot of people won't know these areas, but I was living in Plumstead in South East London, and a job came up in Thamesmead, which is, I don't know, 2 miles down the road, very local.
Yeah. Be interesting to know if there's anybody listening that
knows these areas.
Know these areas, yeah.
So yeah, went there as a, I don't know what the title was, some kind of housing manager, and then actually stayed there for 7 years, I think. So
you did long stints,
yeah,
really.
I did long stints. I moved up within the companies I worked for. So that was a long period of my career, really, those 2. And then I felt as if I was falling out of favour. As you say, sometimes you get that feeling with your senior. That was the chief exec, and I thought, I think I need to. So
you just got out quick
before I get moved on. Yeah, took a job quite a long way away from home then. And I was only there a couple of years, but I left there as director of housing. We lost a lot of funding, so I got made redundant. Never been made redundant in my life. Frightened the life out of me.
It's horrible, that's how I felt. Yeah.
Frightened the life out of me, because by that time I was actually separated from my husband, so I was mainly dependent on just my income. I had a mortgage.
I didn't realise it coincided with that.
Yeah, so I didn't like it at all. So I kind of flew into the first temporary job I got offered, which was at the same place you were working for.
Yeah.
I stayed there as a temp, I think, for 6 months, and then got the job permanently. but by that time my mental health was deteriorating. Always had problems with depression, and it could have been for lots of reasons, but I was having more and more episodes that I couldn't get a handle on. And I think I was there for a couple of years, and then I was off sick again, and I knew in my heart I couldn't go back this time. So I actually approached my manager and I said, is there any chance of being paid off, basically? And they didn't have to do it.
No.
You know, they very kindly. I've got a bit of a little package. It wasn't huge or anything, but it kept me going at home for a bit longer. And then I applied because I'd always been in a local authority pension scheme. I think somebody told me that you could apply for medical retirement. I don't know what you call it.
Yeah.
Due to sickness rather than your age. So I was only 50 at that stage. So yeah, I applied for it. Had to go through all kinds of medical with doctors and things. But yeah, I was lucky, and it was lucky enough to end up with a pension. It was a bit of a struggle just on the pension to pay my mortgage. So I started to look at other options. I mean, my ex was making a contribution, but I was always the major.
What, the main breadwinner?
That's the.
Oh, was
that
you?
was the phrase I was looking for. Yeah, I earned a lot more than that. Yeah, he did help out, but it wouldn't have been as much as if he was the big breadwinner. But anyway.
It's so common though, isn't it? The mental health and that, especially linked with work and that as well. It's not just work, but it's so stressful working these days.
Yeah, I don't think I was a natural manager. I think sometimes I got promoted because I was clever and I understood things, but I don't know if my management techniques were that brilliant. I was too nice to people, I was told.
Same here.
Yeah, because I would try to get people to work with me rather than tell them off, and I didn't like that at all. But yeah, I imagine it was, as I say, I've always struggled with my mental health. I even as a teenager, I dropped out of university for a year because I had a depressive episode and things like that. So it's always been there. Wasn't something you could talk about years ago.
No, you couldn't.
That's right. I can remember making excuses, saying, "Oh, I've got the flu. I've got a bad back," because that was easier to say than actually I'm too depressed to come into work. It's a lot easier these days.
But as time's gone on, it's been more and more recognised that it's. I mean, at one point, scientists were saying it was caused by a virus, weren't they?
Yes, they do say there is. Yeah, that makes you much more susceptible to anxiety and depression. Yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of people think it's hormonal, the hormonal connection. Yeah, And the more.
But then, can it be that when it's, men get the same thing? Do they still have to suffer with hormones? I'm not really.
Yeah. I mean, there's in antidepressants there are two main ingredients that are based on hormones in your brain. So serotonin is the one most people know, which is produced in your brain. Yeah. It's the happy hormone. So if you've got lots of that, or you're deficient in serotonin, I can't remember the name of the other one. But yeah. So
it's not the beginning with M, is it? Not
melatonin.
No.
Yeah. No. But that's another one, isn't it? A sleep hormone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will remember it at 3 a.m.
Okay.
And I will text it to you.
We'll tell them next week.
Without any context. And you'll go, why have you sent me this?
That's one thing.
We do that a lot.
Yeah, we do that a lot. If anybody's listening is going through menopause as well, they'll know exactly what we're talking about, which is where the title of our podcast has come from.
Yes.
What did I come in here for?
Yes.
Because so many of us just don't know half the time why we stand in this room, what we're looking for.
Opening a cupboard,
and I've even forgotten why I started on this conversation. What was we talking about?
I don't know. Oh, texting you.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, so we could be having a conversation, and very often I'd say most conversations where we'll forget a name or forget what we were doing, and then we'll go home, won't we? And then that night, just suddenly just send that name that we've forgotten because usually we know what each other's talking about. But I did it the other day, didn't I? There was something a couple of days before, and it just hit me 2 days later, and I sent it to you, and even by then you'd forgotten what that was about.
Yes.
And you said, what?
What?
And I, had
This?
and I had to remind you what the name was. Oh yes, that makes sense now.
We also do a lot of Googling about whether people are dead or not.
Yes. Yeah. Did they die?
Yes.
Are
When
they
we talk
still
about
around?
actors and things like that, we go, oh,
Yeah.
yes, him. Is he dead?
Yeah.
Is he dead yet?
We haven't spoken about them for a while.
Yes.
Yeah. But there's a lot there, so you'll probably not picked up on that a lot in these, because I can't edit everything out, and it would be less fun, wouldn't it?
Oh, it's just part of us, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just how we are. And if you've watched any of my videos, you'll see us quite often there forgetting what we were talking about. And
all the time.
yes, it's.
I'll tell you what we were talking about in the one that didn't record.
All right, what was that?
Because I've just remembered it. We were talking about how often we see each other.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, it's different all the time, really, isn't it? We live within
200 steps.
Is it 200 steps?
Yes, okay.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I live in
steps.
more in the centre, and Sharon's in a little street just outside the centre, aren't you? And we see, so we, the possibility to see each other every day, but
Yes.
you obviously have your own lives as well. So the main days are Thursday when we go to Chair Fit,
which we really need to explain at some stage.
I've had one of my viewers ask me today, what is that? So I just had to. It's basically.
Don't you remember Anita used to call it lap dancing?
Lap dancing, yeah. There was a friend of ours called it lap dancing. No.
It's not that kind of activity.
You basically you're exercising either sat on a chair, around a chair, or using it for support, aren't you?
Yeah.
And we use resistance bands as well, and it's really good fun. The classes, I would say, majority is French ladies.
Yeah, I think it's 2/3.
Yeah, so it's quite good fun, especially for the instructor who gets confused with the French words. So they have a giggle at her, and we obviously enjoy giggling as well. So yeah, it's still quite hard work. It sounds easy, but it's not, is it really? It's still quite tough. I mean, I meant to say to you when I got here, does your bottom hurt?
No, my thigh muscle here.
Right.
Well, I'm saying here on a podcast.
Well,
but
yeah.
my big thigh
I think I know
muscle.
where your thighs are, though. But I was laying in bed this morning and my bottom was throbbing. We've done a lot of bottom exercises yesterday, didn't we?
Oh, because we missed a week because of the bad weather. I think that
she was trying to make up for that. That's right. Yeah. So Thursdays is Chair Fit. Friday we call it Crafting Friday, and we do try to get together and craft, whether it be knitting or just whatever any repairs we've got to do, alterations or anything, or maybe even go mad and create something.
Yes.
But it's sort of fallen by the wayside quite often this year because we've had holidays
apart,
holidays together. We've been ill.
You've had all your editing to do.
I've had a lot of editing to do, but I try not to let it interfere with Fridays.
Yeah.
Because I do like to obviously get together, and it's Friday today, and here we are recording this.
Yeah.
But I think we'll either choose another day, or it could be regular when we get in the swing of it, of maybe doing this on a Friday and then get on crafting afterwards or during. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously the people listening don't see what we're doing, so we could be doing anything while we're talking.
Well, today actually we're in the street naked.
Yes, exactly. Just don't tell anybody.
Not today. It's bloody chilly.
Oh, I'm just looking out the window. Actually, it's quite grey again. It's just horrible. But we've got the weekend to look forward to anyway.
Except it's bank holiday tomorrow.
Yeah, there will be quite a lot shut, and I don't know if there's actually a lot of manifestations, as they call them here, on or not. I don't know.
Are the flags up? Did you see the flags as you come past the church?
No, very often on a holiday like this, especially this sort of holiday, tomorrow it's armistice, and they will very often put the French flags up at the church.
I was going to say amnesty. That's the wrong word.
Not amnesty, no. So but the French do have a lot of these sort of holidays, don't they? So
there's a lot more bank holidays in France.
Yeah,
and they are usually very strictly observed as well. one, they're always on the day. They don't move them to the Monday.
No, that's
so
right.
You will get a random Thursday.
Yeah.
Where everything's closed.
Yeah. In UK, they purposely avoid that by making the bank holiday either usually on the Monday, isn't
usually
it?
on the Monday.
So give people a longer weekend. But here, it's whatever
the
day
11th,
it falls.
So that's when it falls.
Yeah, which is tomorrow's Saturday, so it's falling on a Saturday. But as I say, and in UK they'd have made that Monday, wouldn't they? But it's fine. We don't mind because we're not working.
It's all part of the charm.
And Duncan just counts it as another day anyway, so he still goes into work. As long as he's quiet and he's not disturbing anybody, because it's almost has to be treated like a Sunday. And Sundays is a no-no. You don't work on a Sunday, you don't make a noise on a Sunday. So if he's doing anything, it has to be fairly quiet work.
Yeah.
So, and it's nice. It's a good thing that they do that. It's just when families get together here, isn't it?
Yes, I think we're not quite sure if everything will be closed tomorrow. Maybe the shops be on restricted hours.
No, so I know the big supermarket in May and is open, but anything else I'm not sure. We have to do a bit of research, or we're at 9 Duncan and I, because we usually have a drive round on a Saturday. We'll probably drive around and find nothing open.
Yeah, we don't tend to see each other as much at weekends, do we?
No, weekend is. I try to make it for me and Duncan. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Trying to think what other. In the middle in the week we might see each other for shopping or walking. That's the other thing we try and do. It used to be on a Monday and a Wednesday, didn't it? But the weather has really interfered with that. It's just been chucking it down, as I'm sure it's been chucking it down where you are as well.
And then the summer it was too hot to do anything. It's been a really extreme weather year, hasn't it?
Yeah. We had a holiday together this year.
We did.
We went to Italy, which was a big holiday, really.
Oh, amazing.
And you'll see videos of that again on Foppy's France.
We did a tour, didn't we? We did a tour.
A bit of a tour,
yeah.
Yes. And Duncan and I have been on I think we went on a couple of holidays ourselves, separately, I think, as well. And so, so holidays
you went to South of France, didn't you?
Was that this year?
Yeah.
We went to the Vendée.
You went to the Vendée.
South of France was last year.
South.
Well, it is south, yeah, but I mean that's not proper south.
Not south.
So yeah, and you've had a couple of holidays this year, so all these sort of things have interfered, haven't they?
I had 2 holidays with friends this year in France.
Well, it depends if we're called friends or not.
No, it was
3 lots of friends. I'm obviously not a friend, listeners.
In addition,
in addition to ours,
2 others. And I've been to the UK 3 times, I think.
Have you this year?
Yeah.
Wow.
Or twice.
Yeah, see, that's the difference, isn't it? I say, because you are on your own, you do what you want. But I think we said that it might have been in the last recording, because obviously Duncan and I have each other to think about.
Oh, absolutely.
And you can just do what you want to do.
Yeah, as long as the cats and chickens are looked after.
Yeah, exactly. No, you went for your daughter's birthday. You went for Christmas, but that was obviously last year.
No, I
wasn't
didn't go
it?
for Christmas last year. I spent Christmas with you last year.
Oh, you did last year, didn't you? God, it seems like ages ago.
I went over to help Callum and Daisy move, didn't I?
Ah, yes. Was that this year? Good God.
March time.
Good God. Yeah. But anyway, so talking about future videos. We're not doing a video. We're doing a podcast. We've got a long list of things that we're going to talk about.
Yes, we have.
Where there is an option, please do ask us questions and we'll answer what we can.
Or suggestions of future podcasts.
Well, yeah, that's more or less the same thing. But yeah, no, if you've got a suggestion on things you'd like to hear us talking about.
We could run a problem page if they want to see our problems.
We could be agony aunts, do you think? I don't know if I'd be able to advise anybody on that.
That'd be funny because we'd probably say completely different things.
No. But if it's relating to France and living here, then we might be able to answer some questions there. But again,
of a certain age.
There's a whole mini series on Foppy's France about living in France as well.
Or you're in the middle of doing quite a long list of surveys and things, aren't you?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's this new
Yeah.
mini-series, and I've interviewed Sharon, and I've interviewed a lady with a B&B and another
I
lady.
thought you were going to say a lady
who
with
does
a beard. then. I've interviewed a lady with a beard.
No, and a lady that we met when we had a macrame lesson, and I've got another couple I'm going to be interviewing soon who have a holiday home here.
Chair fit Val.
Yes, I'm our chair fit lady. I'm interviewing her soon.
Mm.
So so look out for those as well on Foppies France, and that will give you probably answer a lot of your questions and curiosities. But other than that, got anything to add for this one, Sharon?
No, it's been a pleasure, Jan.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Sharon.
I need a wee, so it's probably good.
Also, it's just that old lady thing again, needing the loo. So we'll see you in the next podcast.
Yes.
Bye.